Hi guys. How we doing? Halfway through the week. It is Wednesday, my dudes. How is everybody? So we have made it here to the halfway point of the week, and a weird week it is, I gotta say, but an exciting week. A lot of good news coming my way this week, which is I need good news in my life right now. I don't know about you guys, but it's like, gosh, long overdue to get some good news. Hey, Stacia, how are you, my friend? Hey, Joan. Joan, I got to talk to you later this afternoon because I had a conversation this morning about you that it just made me giggle to no end. So I've got to tell you about it later. Don't let me forget. Hi, Maggie. Hi, Debbie. Sorry, my mouth was Anita. Anita says, good evening. It's morning here. Well, it's late morning, early afternoon. Well, it isn't morning anymore. I've been up for a really long time. It feels like the longest morning ever. It's actually afternoon. But, you know, I'm good, Julie. How are you? How's everybody doing? So for those of us here in the States, we are, I've got the election results going on in the background. Just, it's on mute. Just looking up at it every now and then, like nothing's changed, but I don't know, I don't know. It's a weird one. It's a weird one. I don't have a preference either way, just in case you were curious. I just, whatever. Just one of those things, like you feel like you need to be in the know because everybody else is in the know. And like, anyway, hi, how we doing? Good morning. Good morning. It is still morning to a lot of you who are not over here on the east side of the country. So, guys, it's Wednesday. Lots of fun things happening. Lots of fun things happen on Wednesdays for Jesse James Beads, right? Because Wednesday is normally What's New Wednesday. So you're going to have to stay tuned for that, which is a really good segue into how you should be signed up for the newsletter for Jesse James Beads. And if you've not done that yet, please do so. That will keep you in the know. You will be the first to know, right? You're going to be the first one to know when there are new releases or new sales, what the weekly deals are, and all of the good information that is going to add a little extra sparkle and color to your week, right? So, speaking of deals, we've got 3 brand new weekly deals this week. Remember, we had a pop-up sale on Monday, and so now we have just our regular weekly deals. And I say regular very loosely because the weekly deals are never regular. They're regular in the sense that they happen, but they're always really good deals. And this week is absolutely no exception. So, buy 3, get 1 free. I love this one. I love this one. I love it when it's buy something, get something. Those are like my favorite. I'm an avid shopper. You guys know I love to shop like nobody's business. I definitely have an Amazon shopping problem, and very close next would be a bead shopping problem. So buying something, getting something, that always makes me happy, right? So you can get buy 3, get 1 free bead mixes, and the code for that is mix match. No spaces, just mix match, which is really, really a good one, guys. It's a really awesome way to stock up, right? I always kind of feel like, so Jesse James Bead strands are like the beautiful, I don't know how to explain it. Like, to me, they're in a kind of a class in their own, right? Like, when I think of Jesse James Beads, I think of the most amazing strands ever, and they just look beautiful. They're these beautiful works of art. And then you've got your check glass, which is a really good way to build your stash. I kind of feel that same way about the bead mixes because they are really good for building your stash, but they all have their own little individual personalities. It's like a smaller version of the strand. There's usually some smaller beads in there and some extra little elements. So when you can stock up on those, like, do it. They're so fun. They're so fun to go through. We're going to go through one today. I'm going to show you guys the blue raspberry ice pop. It's so pretty. I cannot wait to show it to you. So take advantage of that. Buy 3, get 1 free. That's a really, really good deal and a great way to stock up on your very favorite bead mixes. Love those little guys. So much comes in such a tiny little package. It's not tiny, but you know what I mean. It's amazing how many things fit in there. All right, and then you can get your favorite color. I want to be sure that I get this one right, so I'm actually going to refer over here to the website. Okay, so it's 10% off your favorite color. Now, the way that that works is you're going to actually click on your favorite color, and you're going to get a personalized for that color code to use. So, yeah, Sarah says this is a great week for retail therapy. I agree. I like every single one of these deals is so good. Weekly deal, 10% off your favorite color. So if your favorite color is red, you're going to go to the red section. You're going to get your own code for red, right? Which is different than the code for green. So be sure that you're picking the right one, right? You're shopping in your color lane and you can use that code. So I don't have like the list of all the codes for all the colors. You'll have to get those from the section on the website, but just know that that's going on as well. And then last but not least, and this is probably the biggest one, this is always like, it's always exciting to see this one, and that is the free shipping for a $139 cart minimum. Guys, that includes so many things. So if you're planning on filling up your cart with goodies, take advantage of the free shipping. There's no code for this, so you can use this in conjunction with your 10% off your favorite color or your buy 3 get 1 free. So keep all of that in mind, right? There's not a code for that part. That's just going to automatically be deducted from your cart when you go to check out, which is super spectacular. This time of year, free shipping, I'm telling you, it's those little things that, at least for me, in my opinion, that consumers really appreciate, right? Because I know this year is going to be a lot different with holiday shopping, and I'm going to be doing the majority of my shopping online, if not all of my shopping. And when I can get free shipping, that's where I really kind of feel like the businesses are taking care of us, because they know we're all at home. We're all shopping from home. Jesse James Beads is no different, taking care of their customers, knowing that, you know, that free shipping means a lot to us. So as a customer, I can definitely appreciate that one for sure. Oh gosh. Let's see. Oh, somebody's trying to fill up a container with beads, and Joan's telling them to shake it. Shake it. Oh goodness. All right. So anything else I need to tell you guys? I don't know. It's weird because it's like I've been up for a really long time. I don't normally get up super early, but I've been up for a while, and I kind of feel like I've completely forgotten all of the things that were on my plate for today. I don't know. My mind is elsewhere, I guess. All right. So that being said, whatever it was, it must not have been super important. I know I gave you the important news. The next important thing, of course, is our project, and that is using one of the mini mixes. Blue Raspberry Ice Pop. I know I mentioned it just a second ago, but you guys, it's so pretty. I can't wait to show it to you. So I have cheated a tiny bit. So we're supposed to be doing a design on the fly, and it is a design on the fly in the sense that I have not executed this project, right? I know I've drawn it out. I know what the drawing looks like. So I do have a plan. I'm not going into it completely blind, but I did wire wrap one bead just to save a little bit of time. Oh gosh. Hold on. I see something about snacks. You know, I have to stop when I see something about snacks. Donna says, I think it's safe to say that we all need one of your snack sessions. It's my therapy. Oh, I love that. So I'll have to get that. I'll have to get that arranged for you guys. I don't have anything at the moment, and I have something on the way, but it's just one thing. So yeah, I'm going to have to work on that for y'all. That's always so much fun. We haven't done that in a while. So yeah. Okay. So back to the project. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be creating a necklace, and this necklace is going to be in the front is going to have like 3 strands. We're going to pretend it's like a faux multi-strand necklace. The front of it absolutely does have 3 strands. We're going to use some chain reaction that matches really beautifully with these beads for the length portion, but we're really going to show off all of these beautiful little beads that are in this mix. I can't wait for you guys to see them. Even the bohos, like, oh, I couldn't work them into this design, but I was like, they're going to make the perfect earrings to go with this. Like the color of blue in the bohos. It's so good. So good. All right, so let's stop talking about it and let's just do it, shall we? All right, so here's our little mix, and I'm gonna need to empty out my little bowl here. I don't have enough bowls on my desk today. I normally do, but they're full of other things, so take all the findings out of this one. So we're just going to keep it kind of simple today, but you know, I feel like we've had really good luck lately with keeping it kind of easy and the results being gorgeous. I feel like today's project is absolutely no different. We're going to keep it easy, but the results are going to be stunning. If it turns out the way that I want it to, I can't wait for you guys to see the finished piece. All right, so I'm going to dump this one out and let you guys take a little look. This color is absolutely the embodiment of blue raspberry ice pop. So let me tell you guys know I love snacks. I'm sorry about the cord here. I'm gonna move that out of the way. So it's no it's no surprise to most of you that I'm obsessed with snack food. I'm a junk food junkie. I really have got to get that under control because I'm telling you, quarantine 15 is a real thing. And as soon as Christmas is over, it's like no more snacks for me. But in the summertime, one of my very, very favorite things in the summer is a blue raspberry ice from this ice cream place that's down the road. It's not very far from here. I don't get them very often, and I have to be really careful about when I get them because they turn my mouth blue. And so you can't, you just can't be taken seriously with a blue mouth. So I always have to be sure that I'm like not going anywhere, well, now that we have masks, I don't guess it really makes any difference. I can have one whenever I wanted to, and nobody would know. But previously, before the masks, I had to be careful. And especially if I wanted to sneak one, like if I would get one before my kids came home from school, I'd have to be sure to like get all the blue off my mouth. This is that color exactly. I mean, exactly to the T. This is the exact color that my mouth and the blue raspberry ice would be. Oh, so good. So good. This mix is gorgeous. My favorite beads in this are the bohos. Look at the color on that. So this is a little bit lighter than all of the other colors in here, but it still goes so well. It's like this has just been sugared a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? Like I see this bead and it's like, it's less tart. The darker blue, those are more tart and it makes your lips pucker, but this has like a little bit more sweet to it. Oh, so pretty. I know I'm totally combining food and beads here, but I can't help it. I can't help it. The name it's the perfect name for this. These are gorgeous. My second favorite in here, of course, is the drops. I love the drops. They're gorgeous. I need more drops in my life. So, so pretty. And then the little squares. Yes, little babies. And they look like little blue ice cubes. How cute are those? So we're going to take advantage of a lot of the gorgeous beads that are in here, and just to give you kind of a little teaser. Oh, well, before I do that, I do want to show you that there are some metal elements in here as well. So look at that guy. We're going to use him in our design. And then there are little butterflies, which are just the perfect little cutie patooties. I love it. That is one of the things about the mini mixes that you don't necessarily get on a strand. You're not going to get one of these little butterflies on a strand, right? I mean, unless it's a super special strand. But the mini mixes are so individualized. They all have their own little personality. So with this one, you're getting some little butterflies. With another color, you might get something a little bit different, right? But they all have these little individual things in them that just make them so much fun. It's like a treasure hunt when you go through a mini mix. Love them so, so much. Okay, so a little teaser for where we're going. I just want to show you. We are going to do a tiny, tiny bit of the herringbone today. We're just going to do the mate to this. So if you have been practicing your herringbone, and I have seen you guys on the group posting your pictures, you guys are doing an amazing job. So I thought, well, we'll just incorporate a little bit of that. It's not a lot. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time on it because I do want to keep this kind of light and easy. So if you're not feeling the herringbone wire wrapping, that's okay. You can just wire wrap this bead on either side and you're still going to have the most amazing design ever. Okay. So just know that's part of where we're going today. All right, so I also have picked out some chain reaction to go with this, and I had this gorgeous gold chain reaction with that blue glass, and it was almost the perfect match. So I thought, yeah, that's got to go. That's got to go with it. But I got to tell you, even if you don't have a chain reaction with the blue bead, a clear bead is going to look beautiful with this. The white beads are going to look really beautiful with this. So mix and match your chain reaction. It's okay if you don't have the exact blue, okay? Totally fine. But I've taken my chain reaction and I've cut it into a couple of pieces. So I have 2 pieces. They're already linked together here just to kind of save some time on something that you guys have seen me do a bunch. So I have 2 pieces here for the length, and then I also have 2 other pieces. These are going to help for that tiered multi-strand look in the front of our necklace. So 2 of our 3 tiers are going to be pieces of chain reaction. Just know ahead of time that it only took me 1 piece of chain reaction to get all the pieces for this necklace. Always keep that in mind. I try when I use chain reaction to not use more than 1, because you get plenty with one thing of chain reaction. There's so much of it. So just know that's coming. All right. Now, as far as everything else is concerned, we're just going to use some head pins and some eye pins, and then just a small piece. Well, it's not going to be a small piece, but just a little bit of 22 gauge wire for the herringbone wire wrapping. And we're going to save this after we create the first part. Okay. So let's do our first little beaded section. I want to lay this out for you so you can kind of see where I'm going with this. Okay, so we're going to build from the center out. Let me move some of this out of the way here. Brought it out here to show it to you and then realized it was in the way. All right, did you show the finished product in the beginning, or is it a step-by-step till surprise? So Robin, that's a really good question. So today we're doing a design on the fly, so it absolutely is a surprise, but I'm going to kind of lay it out for you so that you're going to get an idea of what the design is going to look like, and we'll go from there. But yeah, it's step-by-step all the way, but kind of a surprise because there was no teaser pic for this. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to use... I love the baby beads. So we're going to take the little blue rondelles and the little cubes. Let me go ahead and grab 1, 2, 3. I need 6 of the cubes, okay? And I need 6 of the little baby rondelles as well. So let me grab those and then I'll lay these out so you can see. There's 4. All right, so there are the 6. I'm missing 1 of the little rondelles. There it is. All right, so this is what we're going to create our bottom part of our necklace with, our strands. So this is going to be our center here. I feel like the light is really dark today, so I apologize. And we're going to put on eye pins. We're going to do 2 beads per eye pin, and we're going to link these together with some jump rings. Okay, so we're not going to connect these to each other directly, just to kind of give us some little extra space, because our beads are really small. They definitely make a statement though. They're not they're not so small that they don't stand out and make something beautiful. Hi, Joy. All right. Okay, so we've got these laid out. So this is where we're going, okay? And we're going to connect these. I'm going to put all of these on eye pins. We're going to connect them with 6mm jump rings, okay? Then I'm going to take 2 of the pieces of chain reaction. Let me just lay those out. So we're going to have a layer of a short little piece of chain reaction, and then another short piece of chain reaction that's a little bit shorter. We're going to connect those together with our little herringbone wire wrap and some jump rings. So that's going to be our bigger bead to kind of bring everything together. So this is kind of where we're going, which I know nice and flat. It's really kind of hard to see and envision, but you'll see. This is going to turn out really, really pretty, and there's not a whole lot of hard elements to this, and I'm always a fan. Okay, so let's just get started, shall we? Let me move some of this out of the way now that we've got an idea, because I don't want the camera here to have trouble focusing. So keep the background as clean as we can. All right, so bringing in an eye pin, okay? All 6 of these are gonna go on eye pins. We're not gonna do wrapped loops for these. We're just gonna do simple loops, okay? Feel free to do wrapped loops if you want to, but we're just gonna keep it kind of easy. Okay, so I've threaded my beads onto an eye pin, and now I'm gonna do our simple loop. So you can do this 2 different ways. You can grab the wire and use your pliers to bend the wire, or you can just bend it with your finger. I just find that when I'm holding on to smaller beads, I have a harder time really holding onto the wire enough to get a really good crisp bend in the wire. So a lot of times I use my pliers to do that. All right, I am going to come in with my cutter tool now, and we want to trim off. Now I like to try to keep my loops the same size as the loops on the bottom. This bottom loop here is about a 2 millimeter loop. Mine are a little bit bigger sometimes just because I have a tendency to underestimate how much wire I need to trim off. They don't have to be exact matches, but you just want to keep them pretty close if you can. So I like to trim off and leave myself about 1/4 of an inch of wire. So I'm just going to come in with my cutter tool, trim that off, and now I'm going to come in with the round nose pliers, and I'm going to grab that wire right at the tip of the wire, and I'm going to roll back to create my loop. Okay, so now I've got a loop on either side, and they're pretty close in size, right? Pretty close. Right? So now we're just going to repeat that. We're going to do 5 more of these, and fortunately they don't take a whole lot of time to do, so I didn't want to do any of them ahead of time. That kind of takes away from it being a design on the fly anyway. So all right, same thing, grabbing the wire, I'm just going to bend it. So the difference between a regular loop and a wrapped loop is where you bend that wire, and obviously the wire wraps that happen. But when we are going to set our wire up for a wrapped loop, you have to leave that extra little bit of space. And I'll show you in just a second. I'm going to go ahead and roll this back. Okay. So now we've got our 2 loops on that one. I'll show you with this one. So if we were going to set this up to do a wrapped loop, we would grab the wire with our pliers right where it is exiting, and then we would bend the wire over the top of our pliers, right? So that then we have that small amount of space between the bead and the bend to do the wire wrapping. But when we do just a simple loop, we don't need that space, so we make the bend right where the wire is exiting the bead. So I find I can roll forward but not backward. Why is that? You know, I don't know. I think it's just, I'm not really sure why that is. And you know what? I don't think I've ever really thought about, I think you're probably not the only one that's like that. That's interesting. I've never really thought about that. Huh. All right, so I'm going to raise your hand if you have the same problem. I'm going to trim the wire, leaving myself 1/4 of an inch. Okay. And again, coming in with the round nose pliers, and I'm going to roll back or forward, whichever one works for you, right? As long as the results are the same, I don't think the direction makes any difference, but I've never really thought about that. It's interesting. All right. So, whoops, that one was a little bit bigger. I'm going to go. Okay. So we've got 3 more to do. I can't wait for you guys to see this necklace finished. As I know I laid it out and you're like, oh, okay, I see, but you don't really get the full effect until everything is put together. And I love when we do a design on the fly and all I have is a drawing, and then to see it like come to life is always so exciting. And I love it that we get to share that with each other. I know, it's the simple things. I'm just a simple person. All right, rolling back. Okay. And we've got 1 more. Good morning, aloha. Nicole says, I'm already loving it and it's not done. I know, right? It's the color. This color is so good. It's it's so good. It is so good. Guys, do I sound different to you today? Because the reason I ask is because yesterday my microphone, you know, I bought a new microphone just recently, and the microphone, it was plugged in to the iPad, but it was like draped over the edge of my desk here. And before I knew it, my dog ate the little foam thing that goes on the top, you know, like they call it something. It's like the wind thing. It's gone, completely gone. Ate it. I don't know. He either ate it or took it and hid it somewhere, but yeah, so it's missing. So I hope I don't sound too bad today. All right. So I forgot to grab my jump rings. Let me get those, that we've got those on hand. Just kind of lay this out. Okay. So we're going to put 6mm jump rings in between all of these. Now, you don't have to use 6mm jump rings. You can use 2mm jump rings. Just take into consideration that when you go with a smaller or a larger jump ring, that it does kind of alter the length of your piece a little bit. So I'm going with the 6mm jump ring so that I do kind of have that extra little bit of space between there. Okay. Now I'm going to put this guy on an eye pin. I'm actually going to do a wrapped loop with him. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to do the wrapped loop on this guy. I forgot the guy on the bottom here. Last night, I tried to put him on a head pin and he didn't. I know, right? You got to love the pups. I forgot that he will not fit. My little head pins and my eye pins are really, really thin and he won't fit. So he's going to have to go on a piece of 22 gauge wire, which means we get to do a, we're going to do a knotted head pin. Totally forgot. I know. Jane says that color is all that. It really is. All right. So let's go ahead and put this guy on an eye pin and then we'll do the other one. Okay. So again, just another just simple loop. So just going to bend the wire, trim off. Okay, same thing. Round nose pliers. Okay, so we've got a loop on the top and the bottom here. We're going to attach that one in the center, and then we want to, I want to wire wrap this guy to this one. Let me grab my wire here. So I'm going to use some 22 gauge wire, and going to do our knotted head pin. So for those of you who are new, first and foremost, welcome. I love it when we have new people. That makes me really excited. This is a cool trick. So if you've never seen this before, this is a cool one. Wanda says, squee, a knotted head pin. I know, so fun, right? I love this trick. Okay, so I've got a 22 gauge piece of wire here. I'm using the German style wire. That is my preferred wire for this, okay? And I'm going to take my round nose pliers. I'm going to grab that wire right at the tip of the wire and the very tip of my round nose pliers. I'm going to roll that around the tip of the pliers once, all the way around. So when I take it off, you can see I've just made one loop around, okay, back on the pliers here. And I'm going to do a second loop around directly underneath the first one. And I want to stop where I see the cut in the wire. So I know that I've been around two. The third bead from the left is upside down. Third bead from the left is upside down. Okay. Thank you. All right, so I've made a coil of 2 loops here, just right at the very tip of the pliers, okay? Now, before I take this off of the pliers, and this is really important, don't take it off the pliers yet, okay? You want to bend the wire out this direction. Don't bend towards your hand. You want to bend away from your hand. And what that means is that that wire is going to be running underneath. Let it focus there. It's going to run underneath the 2 coils. So it seems like kind of a weird move to make, but trust me, that's super important. If you go the other direction, you're not going to get the same results, okay? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the tail end of my wire and I'm going to stick it through those 2 coils that we made. Make this kind of little lasso shape, okay? Now I'm going to come in with my nylon jaw pliers. If you've never done this before, You got to hear this part, okay? You have to use the nylon jaw pliers. You cannot do this with regular pliers. If you do, you will strip the coating off of the outside of your wire and it will not be usable. So the nylon jaw pliers is the main part of this process, and you want those two coils to be sitting right up against the side of the nylon jaw pliers. Now you want to come in with another pair of pliers, grab that tail end of the wire and pull. And you want to really, really pull, okay? Pull very, very tight, and you're going to get a little knot, a little rosette shape, and you've made yourself your own little head pin. So now take our bead, drop that down, and voila, you've made yourself a little head pin. Now, why is this necessary? This is necessary because, just like I was saying, the bead that I've got and the findings that I have just didn't really jive with each other, right? My eye pins were a little bit too thin for this bead, the hole that's on this bead. It's not a large hole, but my eye pins are really, really thin. And so that is a good, that's a good solution to that problem. Another thing is if you're using a colored wire or, you want all of your wire parts to match, this is a good trick to have so that all of your wire pieces are going to match each other. All right, so we're going to do a wrapped loop on this guy. So I'm going to grab the wire right where it is exiting the bead, and I'm going to bend the wire. So now I've got that space, right? With a regular simple loop, we don't have the space, but we need the space for a wrapped loop. I'm going to come in with the round nose pliers and put them in that space so the wire is running between the barrel of the pliers. I'm taking the wire up and over the top barrel of the pliers. I'm going to roll my pliers out of the way so I can take the wire over to the other side. Now, I want to directly wire wrap this to this. So this is a really long piece of wire, by the way. My piece of wire was way too long, but I'm going to take the tail end of it. I'm going to stick it through one of the loops here on this one that we just made the loops on, and then just pop those two together. Okay, so there's not a jump ring here. We're just directly connecting these two together. And I'm going to grab that loop. I like to use my bent chain nose pliers so that the plier ends are out of the way. And then I'm just going to wire wrap on the top. And then I'm going to come in with my cutter tool and trim off. Okay. If I can find it, there it is. All right, so snipping that off of there. Now we've got our little center section. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and connect all of these beads together. So I'm going to start in the center, and I'm just going to grab my jump ring with two pairs of pliers and just walk it open. Okay, don't pull apart. You want to do that kind of lateral twist. We're going to thread on our bead that's going to hang here at the bottom, or our little beaded section rather. And then I'm going to thread on one of our little beaded links on the right and one on the left. And then I'm going to close the jump ring back. Okay, make sure that you get a really good close on that jump ring and it's not open so your beads your little sections don't sneak out on you. Okay, and then I'm just going to continue to do the same thing to attach the two, or not the, two more little beaded sections. Okay, so there's one. Oh my gosh, you guys, I completely forgot something. I was getting a little excited. It's a good thing we've only gone this far. So I forgot. Completely forgot. Let's rewind just a second, shall we? So this isn't the only thing that we were going to do here. I left out a really important part. So there are these guys. These guys, I want to hang these guys from each one of the jump rings. Let me just lay them out for you so you can see just how extra that's going to make this. Can't believe I almost forgot this part. So we're going to do the same thing with these. I'm just going to pop these on head pins. Okay, so we're going to have like extra stuff going on with this, right? So all I'm going to do is put these on head pins, and we'll just do simple loops real quick. Actually, you know what? Let's not do simple loops. Let's do some more wrapped loops just so that we have kind of covered all of our technique bases. There's no reason why you can't see a couple of these, right? So grabbing the wire right where it is exiting the bead, bending the wire, see the space there, Okay. Up and over. Roll the pliers out of the way. Take that on over to the other side. And I'm going to use my pliers to do the wire wrap. So there's one. Go ahead and trim off the tail. So when we go to attach everything with our jump rings, it's a good thing I remembered because I want to attach these to the jump rings. They're going to hang from the jump ring, and this is just going to keep us from opening and closing the jump rings more times than we need to. Okay, so let's do another. All right, round nose pliers, up and over, pliers out of the way, wire over to the other side. You can use your fingers here if you want to, but a lot of times when I'm using the really thin gauge wire, I like to use my pliers to do the wrapping. I just feel like I have a little bit more control, whereas my fingers are kind of big in comparison to that little tiny wire. Okay, so now I'm going to do another one. Just go kind of quick with these two. Okay. There's that one. Love that cone-shaped crystal. Me too. Me too. I can't believe I almost left them out. They're so pretty. It just wouldn't have looked the same without them, so. Uh-oh. Pliers in the floor. Okay. Last one. Go up and over. Whoops. Okay. All right, so now we're ready to put the rest of this together. Okay. All right, so we've already got this jump ring open. So I'm going to thread on one of our little beads. I'm going to thread that on there, and then I'm going to connect another one to it and go ahead and close that back. Okay. Need another. Almost knocked those off the table. Okay, I'm going to thread on our little cone. And this guy. Close it back. Then I like to lay everything out so that I'm sure that my jump rings are all going in the right direction, so that my little cones are all going to hang on the down side of that jump ring. You know what I'm saying? So that one of them's not in the wrong place. It just won't hang as pretty if you're not really mindful of that. You'll always be trying to flip your beads over, and that can be frustrating. And a lot of times, not a lot of times, but sometimes you think you've got it and then you go to put it on the bust and you realize that it's twisted anyway. It's an easy fix, but it's one of those little things that just drives me absolutely crazy. So I try as I go to kind of lay everything out so that I can be sure that I'm not getting anything twisted like that. But it still happens. That's just part of it. Okay. Got one more. And then we will do, after this, we'll do our, well, we'll go ahead and add, I was thinking we would go ahead with the herringbone, but I think we'll go ahead and add our two other little strands of our chain reaction to this, and then we'll do the herringbone. So kind of save that part towards the end, I guess. Whoops. Did not get a good close on that one. All right, so again, just kind of lay everything out, make sure everything's hanging on the bottom of the jump rings. All right. Oh, thank you, Donna. You're so sweet. You guys are always so sweet. All right, so now I've got two pieces of chain reaction. One of them is a little bit shorter than the other, so I want the short one to go at the top. I've got one that's a little bit longer. Not by much though, just a tiny bit, okay? I'm going to attach all of these with a 6mm jump ring on either side, and then when we go to connect all of those to this guy, we're actually going to use a 4mm jump ring as a go-between, just so that everything is facing the right direction, okay? That extra jump ring is, you'll see when we go to put everything together why it's necessary. All right, so we just need 2 more 6mm jump rings. Put all of this together real quick, and then we'll get that last little bead wrapping in for the day. Okay. So there's all of that. Okay. Now I'm going to do the same thing over here on the other side. Okay, now this whole little section is ready, okay, and it doesn't look like much when it's just kind of laying here, but it's going to hang really beautifully once we get everything on the bust. Okay, so now let's go ahead and create these little guys. So one of them's already done, so we're just going to do one, and I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this little part as far as the herringbone goes, because I feel like we've done it a lot. And if you need to see it again, you obviously can watch the replay. And there are other projects where you can see this as well. I'm trying to keep it simple, but I felt like it was just a fun little extra element to this. Okay, so I'm going to use 22 gauge wire for this, and a lot of the other projects that we've done the herringbone wire wrapping with, we've actually used the 24 gauge wire. We're going to use the 22 just so that we kind of keep the heavy balance, the wire balance going here. I felt like the 24 might just be a little bit too lightweight, so we're going to stick with the 22, and I'm going to give myself about 18 inches of this, and that's probably too much, but you guys know I'm a huge advocate of, you know, making sure you've got plenty as opposed to running out. All right, so I'm going to come down on that wire. Give yourself a good 2 inches here, okay? Make sure you got plenty. I'm going to bend the wire. Okay, now I'm going to come in with my round nose pliers. I'm going to take the wire up and over, just like any other wrapped loop. Okay, but now when we go to do our wraps, we're going to do 7 wraps. Okay, so there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And I'm also using German style wire for this. Okay, because that question always comes up. I always use the German style wire for my herringbone if possible. It's not always possible. Sometimes you don't have it. You can use artistic wire for this. You just might feel a little more frustrated with it just because it's so soft, okay? All right, so there's our wire wraps on one side. I'm gonna go ahead and drop my bead down. Okay, now I need to repeat the wire wraps on the other side. So I need to come out from the bead and start my wrapped loop. So that space in there, I'm just going to kind of eyeball it. It's right in here. You can measure with an actual ruler and, you know, like be a professional. Not that I'm not, but you guys, I never use a ruler for this. I always just kind of eyeball it. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it's a little off, but it's never off to the point where you know, It's way too much. In fact, I can tell that one is a little bit, I was a little overzealous here. So let's straighten that back out. Try again, shall we? I feel like that's a little bit better. I do have a funny little bend in my wire though. Straighten that little guy out. Okay, so now I'm going to come in with my round nose pliers. Okay. Oh gosh, what am I doing today? Up and over. Oh goodness. Starting to feel like it's a Monday. Okay. Now I'm going to do the wire wrap, and I'm not super concerned that these are the prettiest wire wraps ever, just because we're going to cover them up. So it doesn't really matter, you know, embrace that part. See the spaces in there? Like, I'm not super worried about it. Okay. We're gonna cover all that up. Okay, so the herringbone wire wrap, I do need to straighten it out a little bit. You always want your wire to be coming in the wrap from the back to the front, okay? So your wire is always going across the front of the bead. Do you see what I'm saying? It's in front of all these wire wraps, and you can see, okay? Always, always to the front, whether you're on the top or you're on the bottom, okay? I'm going to guide the wire down the side of the bead, up here to, or down to, whichever direction, the wire wrap on the other side. The wire needs to go in front of the wire wrap, okay? And then you want to wrap around the wire wraps and back out to the front, okay? You can see. That wire consistently needs to be staying on the front side of the wire wraps, okay? Same thing, I'm going to go down the side of the bead, kind of turning the whole thing in my hand, right? Up here to these wire wraps, the wire's going in front of those wire wraps. I'm going to wrap around to the back, back out to the front, okay? So now we've done the wire wrap on either side. So we've kind of framed our bead, right? Okay, now we're going to do that again. This time we're going to go behind. So you want to be sure that that wire lays behind the first wrap that you made down the side of the bead. Okay, they're laying, it's right behind it. To the front of the wire wrap, wrap around, back out to the front. Same thing on the other side, going behind that wrap that's already laying there, to the front of the wire wraps, wrap around, back out to the front. Okay. Same thing. Now we've got 3 wraps. That's okay, Patty. Welcome in, my friend. Wrap around to the front, down the side of the bead behind the last wire, in front of all the wire wraps, wrap around to the front. All right, now we're going to go one more time on either side. Okay, so we've got behind to the front and around, behind all of those to the front and around. And then I like to do a round again once or twice just to kind of cover up the rest of those little wire wraps. Now, wasn't super perfect, right? We didn't spend a whole lot of time on this, but you get the idea, right? And you can watch that in the replay. And, you know, don't get frustrated with yourself. Be easy on yourself, give yourself grace. I always say that, but particularly when you're learning a technique like this, it can be kind of frustrating at first, but go slow, be patient, use your sentence enhancers when necessary. Just don't throw things, and practice it a few times. You guys have been posting pictures of the herringbone wire wrap on the group, and you're doing an amazing job. Amazing job. So just keep at it. You guys are, you know, you're really awesome at it. Okay, so we've got 2 of those. They're going to go on either side of our necklace. And if you don't want to do the herringbone wire wrap, you don't have to. Just do simple loops, right? do simple loops on either end or do wrapped loops on either end. You don't have to do that extra wire wrapping if you don't want to. I just thought it would be a fun little extra element, something a little different to this design, but it's not necessary and you're still going to get a gorgeous result, okay? Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to use 2 4mm jump rings as our go-between, and let me show you why. Our jump ring, okay, is facing this direction, and our loop on the bottom of our wire wrapped bead here is going the same direction. So I can't necessarily connect these two together without one of them wanting to spin to the side, right? So in order to keep everything to lay facing the right direction, I'm going to use a 4mm jump ring as my go-between. It's going to be the one that is facing sideways. Okay, and I'm using a 4mm jump ring because I don't want him to add extra length. I just want him to do a job, right? So 4mm jump ring, hook it to the 6mm jump ring, and then hook it to our wire wrapped bead here and close that back. Now you can see both of our loops are going to face the same direction. That little 4mm guy with the job to do, we don't care which direction he faces. Just as long as the important parts are going the right way, right? All right, so the same thing over here on the other side. Little 4mm jump ring. I'm gonna hook him. Whoops. I've gotten everything twisted. Let me lay all this back out because I don't want my strands to be in the wrong place. Okay. Little jump ring with a big job. Hook that right there. Now everything is going to lay out the direction that we want it to. Nobody's going to get out of order. You're not going to be constantly fidgeting with this when you've got it on a bust or if you're wearing it. It's all going to lay exactly the way you want it to. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we are just going to add our pieces of chain reaction. Now, I've already added 2 6mm jump rings and a clasp to the 2 ends, so that part's already done. All we need to do is just open up these 2 4mm jump rings on either end and connect them to our beads, and it will be complete. And you guys will be able to see this on the bust because it looks so much better than laying flat. I feel like this really turned out beautifully. Oh. The chain reaction is just such a perfect addition. I can't ever say enough about chain reaction. It is one of my very favorite Jesse James beads things. You know, I have chain reaction, I cut it up, I use the pieces, the small pieces for things, I save all of my little bits of it and use it for so many different things. It's just such a beautiful chain. All right, so our necklace is done. I know it doesn't look like much here flat, but lucky for you, I've got a bust right here. I'm gonna put it on and I'm going to turn you guys around so that you can see it. I think the results are stunning for sure. I'm a huge fan of this color, so I feel like this is a gorgeous necklace, but honestly, I feel like anything you're going to do with these blue beads is going to look amazing. So, all right, let me turn you around. Okay, whoa, don't want to blind you. Sorry about that. Okay, so are you ready to see it hanging? I think it looks so pretty. Okay, this is like princess jewelry, right? So pretty. So pretty. So much going on, but gosh, it's so pretty. You've got these gorgeous dangles. You guys know I love dangles. I love movement. It's my favorite part of all things sparkly and shiny. The more, the better. And then to add this multi-strand kind of element, but it's to the front, so you don't have to worry about it getting twisted and knotted up, you know, up around your neck or caught in your hair. I love multi-strand designs, but they're very difficult to wear, at least for me, because I'm one of those people that I will constantly be like tugging at it and pulling at it. And every time I look in the mirror, I have to straighten all the strands out. But when you keep your multi-strand elements to the front, then you don't have to worry about that. The tangles and things are happening up here where you're moving your neck, you're moving your head, your hair is coming in contact with it. So when you keep it to the front, you don't have to worry about those things. Always my favorite way to do multi-strand designs. You still get that gorgeous kind of princess look, but without all the fuss, right? Without all that extra stuff. Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just, I'm so picky. So, all right, there you go. Let me come a little bit closer so you can really look at it. And again, you can leave out the herringbone, okay? You don't have to do this part. If you're not quite there yet, you're not quite ready for that step, it's okay. Skip it. Skip it. Just do the wire wrapping on either end. Put it on an eye pin and do one, right? You're still going to have that gorgeous bead there, and it's still going to be a beautiful result. These blue beads, yes, all winter. I've got this all winter. Then I can wear it right on into the spring too, because it's a perfect spring color, but it feels like, you know, I'm channeling my inner ice princess with this, and it's so good. It's so good. All right, guys, that's it for me today. I hope you guys have enjoyed this project. We will have some beauty shots of it, if you will. So if you want to refer back to it, there will be some pictures over on the Jessie James Beads blog, and you can always watch this project in replay if you would like to see it again. Don't forget about the weekly deals, the buy 3 get 1 free. Mix and match your mini mixes, free shipping on $139 carts, and of course you can also get 10% off of your favorite color. Just shop under your favorite color and you will get a code specific to that color to use when you go to check out. And you guys, we'll have another project tomorrow. So stay tuned, sign up for the newsletter so you'll know what's new on your What's New Wednesday. And come back tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. Eastern time to see another fun project. Now this one I've already done. I know what it is and it's super cool too. So if you want to see a really fun earrings project, come hang out with us tomorrow morning. It's going to be a good one. All right. Okay. Until then, I will see you guys later. Have a great day. Bye guys.